What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Core Conversations for Thursday, and it is a freestyle Thursday. I'm going to put my headphone in, captions moving. Hope everyone's doing well. And I had some great guests this week, some really special people, and I hope that you got a chance to check those out. Hello. One second. Podcast. I'm just putting my note in here. Hi, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share the Core Conversations podcast. Bam. All right. So we are doing a freestyle today. And I'm going to have some different people joining me. Hey, Blossom, how are you? Celia, I see you. I'm going to bring you on right about now. I know you don't have much time.
Good morning. That was an awesome intro.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if I'd actually hit the right request button, as most of us kind of get a little bit confused. Here we go. How are you?
Great. You look great for midnight or whatever time it is there in Australia.
Amazing what a bit of lipstick can do, Martin. You should
Right.
try it.
Right. I know.
Not that you need it.
Yes. Oh, how are you, my friend? Thank you so much for just taking a minute with me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. I'll never forget our initial chat. It was so much fun. Yeah, no, we're doing all right. We're in lockdown here. We're still got
Yes.
this curfew, which is like a little bit crazy. So it's a very surreal experience. Like Victoria's done 8 months. Our first lockdown was like 8 months long. And
Yes.
now, like, we're heading for, I don't know, like, I don't even know how long. I doubt we'll actually be allowed to kind of get together with Christmas with family
Yes.
this year.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're looking at getting 70% of the population vaccinated, and then they'll go from there. So we're living in a kind of police state right now.
Right. I know. And, Canada kind of follows Australia, right? Like we were locked down for a long time, just reopened and going through our stages right now. So who knows
Hmm.
what's going to happen? Like today's the first day of school for this region.
Right.
And who knows, right? Next few months, like what that does, because then everyone's out and about and move around and kids and bring it back home. So yeah, who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows, right? But
A lot of unknown, a lot of unknown. And, I loved, I've jumped on here because I love listening to Michael's chat last night.
yes, yes,
And I listened to it again, right? Because there was
right.
so much juice in that conversation for me. Like, he's just a terrific guy, like an all-round humble, knowledgeable, too many words I cannot, find to describe him.
Yes.
And, he was talking about this. We are literally in a state of, trauma. Everyone's in some sort of form of trauma right now. And if we're not
Yes.
feeling it right now, we're going to be feeling it down the track. And he's
Yes.
right. Our job is to heal people and to
Mhm.
share what we know on not just a physical level, but an emotional level, and how, the mind, body, and it all connects. And our emotions, right, they can affect the fascia and how the fascia connects through the body as well. So if you're facing lots and
Yes.
lots of trauma, if you're especially stressed, financial worries, physical worries,
Hmm.
nervous system going absolutely nuts,
Right.
then that's going to deplete the ability to move as intuitively as the body probably should. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's interesting because, like, what's the solution to that? Like, the solution is so personalized, but generally speaking, I feel like it still comes back to how are you taking care of yourself? How are you, as selfish as it sounds,
Hmm.
creating some space for yourself to be able to present the best version of yourself to your clients? Like, I was actually speaking to Nick, Movement Refinery, there in Australia,
Hmm.
and he took a week off or something a while back. So I was just talking with them, and he said,
Mm.
it was good. Took some time off. I decided I'm going to pull back on some of my Zoom classes when I come back. So he took that break to be able to refine his
Mm.
schedule and peel some things back. And I was like, good for you. As much as we want to be there to help our people, sometimes the best thing we can do for our people is take time for ourselves.
That's it. That's exactly right. You have to be able to look after yourself. And if you can't look after yourself, how are you supposed to be responsible for, your kids, for example? Let's
Yes.
keep it close to
Right.
home. How can
Mhm.
you be the best version of you if you're not taking time for yourself? You've got to lead by example, even if
Yes.
it's not work related.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, that looks different for different people. So what do we do about it?
Yeah.
We look after ourselves, but we be kind to others.
Hmm.
We don't need to pick the shit out of everyone and chop
Pick
everyone
fights.
down,
Yep.
pick
Yep.
fights, even just stand your ground, but don't stir the pot too much.
Hmm.
I'm a really firm believer in just do you. If you can support someone else while you're doing it, that's great, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't need to get your hands dirty and be unkind. You don't
Right.
need to fall into that. So
The
I,
kindness piece, right? Yeah.
mhm,
There's
I
there's a
love
funny
that.
there's a funny part yesterday too, and I don't know if anyone caught this except for me just being the one who asked the question, or he asked the question. He said, like, what do you do besides Pilates, right? And I said, oh, I like to just drive my car, just get out and do stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, I like to volunteer and I like to give back. And I was like, yeah, me too. like, like
Yeah,
I was like, it was like a total different like wavelength, but they're
yeah,
both like in that sense of like that's whatever gives you energy, those moments of like giving yourself back or finding a moment to yourself. Like, and I was just laughing because like mine was
yeah.
so
Give
like
back to me.
centered. I was like, yeah, that's what I meant to say. I
Mm, mm.
drive, yeah. No, it's funny.
I get away from the kids. I give back to myself by driving my
Yes.
car. Yeah. No, look, it
Nice.
is different. It depends what place I am. Seriously, it depends what place I'm in.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
depends how much fuel I've got left in the tank in terms of how much I can give someone. But what I have discovered is that, uh, well, I don't want to kind of go into this story without feeling like it's blowing my own horn, right?
Mhm.
But let's just say, we got a new
Celia,
car. I'm going to say
blow
it
your own
because
horn. Just go for
I'm
it.
not even blowing it. I just, it was just an
Let's just
act of,
celebrate for a moment.
all
Let's
right,
just
let me just
there.
tell the goddamn story. Okay.
Go, go.
So, a little while ago, we got a new car. All right.
Yes.
Christmas time, we got a new car. Great. Love it. I think we were having a conversation about which car I was going to get.
Yes.
Anywho, someone hit me in this car that hasn't
Oh
even had
no.
its first service. Okay. And so, not feeling cup wasn't really full. I'm backing out, I'm ready to drive off, and all the bells and whistles, nothing went off. And I just hear whack, someone's
Mhm,
hit me. So I get out of the car, I'm shocked,
mhm.
and I just, not my finest moment, I say to this poor lady, who looked mortified, I go, what the fuck? Like, that was my initial reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was me. She said, I said, I'm sorry. Now, I never even heard her apologize. I was too busy, like, having a moment, right?
Yes. Yes.
And anyway, the upshot of it was we had a little chat, and she's just like, look, I'm sorry, took full ownership. I didn't know, I didn't even look. I've just been to the fertility clinic. I didn't look. She's bawling her eyes out. And here's me feeling this big right now,
Yes.
right? This big.
Right.
I come home and I said to my husband, oh, I've just smashed the car. I've just smashed the car. Or I've had someone smash into me. He's like, don't worry about it. Like, is everything fine? I'm like, yeah, it's all good. But I was in a mood, not because the car was smashed. I knew that I had been unkind. Like, I actually knew. I just showed my worst side, right? And I wasn't even aggressive, but I was just
not kind.
I was not kind, right?
Yeah.
So this lady sent me a text. She's like, it's all my fault. I've rung the insurance. Like, she was the best kind of person to hit you if someone's going to hit you.
Yes.
Right? And I said to Steve, I don't know what this is. I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I've apologized to this woman in a text message saying, I'm so sorry for my initial response. You know, you poor thing. What a day you've had, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
It didn't sit well with me. So what I had to go ahead and do was go down, buy her some flowers, buy some chocolates, and drop them off at her house.
Yes.
Right? She rang me, bawling her eyes out. So, you know, just the kindness. So what I'm basically saying is I didn't feel like being very nice. Right?
Right.
My cup was not full, but my cup was then full. I could rest, I could sleep, because I knew that I had reversed that initial shock, right?
Yes.
And I'd shown this woman that I am quite a nice person. I was just having a moment, you know?
Exactly.
And look, she was wonderful. She was just like, oh, I cannot believe you've made my day. The worst day ever. I've hit you. I've been to the fertility clinic. I didn't ask about that, but, you know, she was really upset. And, you know, it's what we can teach our kids. The kids heard me say this story. I've come home in a gruff, you know, mood and all that jazz. And I worked my way through it.
Right.
And they saw that.
It. I think that is, you know, we say that for social media. Like, we want to post, like, polished pictures and polished movement and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then how much we value, like, an authentic movement and falling and stumbling and stuff. It's the same for our everyday lives. Like, I think people need to, like you just said, that wasn't your cup full moment where you get hit and then you say the right thing and you give them, like, we have those moments, but how do we work through those moments? We're going to all have those moments where we're not putting our best foot forward, but how do we redeem that moment? How do we, what do we do from there? What do we do with that? And that's a perfect example of that. And we all have those moments.
Yeah.
I think,
so it varies.
Yeah.
it varies.
And we definitely need to normalize that too, right? Like, I mean, because, you know, it's much like Explore Pilates and Nita's comment, Pilates in a nutshell. Like, we can make it look absolutely perfect, but we know on the inside out that it's not. So why don't we show that not side sometimes, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, look, I love the chat. I love the chat yesterday. Both of you guys did a great job. So thank you for bringing that to us. You know, there was just, I've got like a whole list of notes here, but I'm not going to get through them.
Yes.
But I do want to say the biggest thing for me, if I may, what came up with Michael is you guys were talking about how, you know, you get certified and you think, I know the stuff. I know all the stuff. I know what to do. I'm off. I'm running. You're a little nervous, but you think you're really great because you've just been through your apprenticeship and you know what's what.
Yes.
And the way that we evolve, the way that our experiences mold the way that we teach and what we teach and how we communicate it and what we're actually passionate about. That's what I loved watching Michael's face just light up when he's talking about this foot to glute and the fascia and all this stuff. And, you know, that is exactly it. You got to find your group. You can't be a carbon copy of somebody else. Sure, you can pop someone on a pedestal. You can be inspired and you know, they put some juice in your tank to keep going. But you really have to find what you love.
Absolutely.
And I love
Yeah,
that.
I absolutely. I love the fact, and he didn't discount the classical method. He didn't discount learning and getting a foundation,
Hmm.
but he, in such a humble way, said, I'm still learning,
Hmm.
right? And there's something to be said for just there's a way to do it where you're not just making stuff up. Like you have a
Yes.
foundation. There's something to be said for that too, right? Like
Yeah.
I said it yesterday that Michel Dalcourt, the guy who taught us the Vipers, and we spent hours and hours and hours going through fundamentals, and then when it came down to the practical part, he said,
Hmm.
"We're going to do this. Go make up some exercises, and then come back and present them to the group." And then when
Yeah.
we did them, it's like, okay, now explain why. Why did you come up with this? What was the foundation? What is the primary mover? All these different things. So there's a
Right.
sense of, okay, now that you know the fundamentals, you're cut loose to do whatever you like as long as you can explain why.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I've taken that into my Pilates practice from my personal training practice, but then that keeps getting butt up against have this order memorized. This is what it looks like. This is. It's like no. Like once you have
Hmm.
your foundation, that's your launch pad into the rest of the stuff. So get your foundation,
Hmm.
get your footing really solid, so you're not trying to jump in sand. You're
Hmm.
jumping off of concrete, so you can launch as high as you can.
Yes. And teach
Right?
intuitively, right?
Yes.
Be an intuitive teacher. We hear teach the body that's in front of you, blah, blah, blah. But it's about being an intuitive teacher for the person that's in front of you.
Yes.
Not doing, like knowing what to leave out maybe from the order, or knowing what to
Yes,
add
that's
in a different
right.
place. It's not about,
That's
you know,
wisdom right there.
yeah,
Yes, that's the
yeah.
wisdom. It was like knowing what not to say and knowing when to let someone move. And like
Hmm.
that's the piece, right? And that's what I'm
Yeah,
listening for. He was
yeah.
so smooth. Like everything was just
Oh,
like just and I'm
yeah.
still laughing at the fact that I didn't know who he was because he reached out to me.
I missed the start of your interview and
It was
I replayed that and I
hilarious.
heard that moment when you realized that he was the first one to introduce Chris Robinson to Pilates and you were
Yeah.
like, oh, you're that, you're that Michael.
Right.
I love
Yes.
that. Yeah, it's great.
Yes, it happens.
It's
And
great.
I was there's a little side thing that's going on in the background, a little conflict with someone that I'm kind of going through and wading through it. But and
Okay,
that's neither here nor there. The point
right.
though is that on this chat, they were making a comment about the fact that I didn't see something coming in a chat, right? So like we're talking and in this chat, they were making a comment that it's almost like Martin didn't expect that person to say that. And it wasn't yesterday's comment, but like they were making comment at the fact that I didn't look like I was prepared in the conversation for something to happen.
Okay.
And where I'm going with this is the point is I'm never prepared for what's going to happen in the chat. That's the beauty of these conversations that I give space for
Yeah.
someone to be themselves, to say what they need to say, to express themselves the way they want to express, and then go from there. The adventure is just going off of what they say next. Like I don't have
Right.
everything written down here. So if I have this Pilates royalty of Michael Johnson in my space, and I'm like, you, that'll
Yeah.
happen. That
Yeah.
will happen, and you just go with the flow with it. And he's like, yeah,
That makes it real.
it
It
makes it real.
totally makes it
I
real.
totally
Right?
want this to just be real and just to be
Hmm.
what it is here. So,
Yeah.
yes. So
No, that
there,
was awesome. That was
yeah,
awesome.
it was fun.
Yeah. That was great fun. Um, I'll quickly share something.
Yes, please.
Talking about what you're passionate about and
Ooh,
how you can find that little bit of a connection, right? So Michael was talking about like foot to glute, foot to glute, foot to glute. Now,
yes.
I have a great teacher, Maria Sisson Wright, who has been talking about short foot, short foot. Get that
Okay.
short foot exercise, right? It
Okay.
gives you strong glutes, hip tracking, blah, blah, blah. Like it's just a solid stability. It's great for you, right?
Yes.
So been working on the short foot. Now, when I think about making things up, like you were saying before, I can't think of making things up like a different
Mm,
movement or an exercise because it doesn't come from mm, a place of need personal need. It doesn't
That's
come from
exactly
that
it.
place,
Right,
right?
right, right, right.
So what I was doing was I was doing some wrist drills. So, you know, I love my handstands, love my inversions, and I was doing some wrist drills and I was doing some hands and pushing into the floor. And we know that like the hands, you know, instead of the feet, the
Mm-hmm.
hands are the ones that have got to push. So you have to find, Michael was talking about the fingers and the whole inner arm and the
Yes, the
connection to the fascia. And
Yes.
you touch this, but it goes right through you like a bolt of electricity, right? And all the
Mm-hmm.
wires fire up and blah, blah, blah. So I'm pushing through the floor and I'm doing this thing and I'm like reacting because you've got to act like you're responding to the floor
Yes. Yes.
so that you can use your balance. And suddenly my palm, like through here, it started to lift, right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
it started to just kind of lift up and I felt all of the muscles in the palm and then all the fingers
So
extending out
cool.
from there, right? So it was
Yes.
like a short foot
Yes.
exercise for the hand, which I've now called short palm, right?
Yes.
And I've kind
Trademarked.
of,
Yes.
yeah, well, I don't know, yeah, careful, don't steal that one, guys. But no, it really works. And then worked it, excuse me, I'm just zipping over here from a little minute.
I love your energy, Celia.
It's only, what is it, 12:39.
Yes.
Then I'm bringing it into play with this little guy.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, Joe was just the biggest genius. Like you get all these moments that get the juices flowing in your head and
Yes.
and I'm like, okay, so that's the short palm thing. That's getting
Mm-hmm.
all of these fingers working, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, so now I can teach that in my handstands
Yes.
and that makes perfect
So
sense to
cool.
me,
Absolutely.
right?
How many people in the chat are doing this while they're watching right now? 'Cause I'm
I
like,
know. Oh,
um,
such a good little invention. Anyway,
right?
I should
There
probably let
is.
you chat to someone else,
Well, no,
right?
no, no. I have one more thing. This is. Maybe we can close on this.
Okay.
There is no such thing as the Pilates community. Thank you.
Right. Right. You
So
know what
just to
my
recap,
kid
let me just know the
no,
recap.
please do. Please.
Yeah.
I'm so
Okay. So
excited about this.
yesterday, for those who didn't hear that yesterday, when Michael Johnson was on, he said there's no such thing as a Pilates community. What he meant by that is that I am the Pilates community. You are the Pilates community. And the way that I present this work to the person in front of is how they're going to perceive Pilates. So Pilates community isn't this ethereal, like governing body, somewhere out there that's saying this is right, this is wrong. It is us. So we are the community. So he was trying to just differentiate between like us trying to just tick a box or get someone's approval and us embodying this work. And so he was saying like there is no Pilates community. So that was the context for that before people start to get mad at that.
Yeah.
And that stuff. But yes, go on.
Well, my kid, she's 16. She said to me she wants to read this book, and I don't know what it's called. It's something about cultivism or something about cults and about, I don't know. She's like, Mum, when people talk about, the Instagram people, when they talk about, oh, you found your tribe, you subscribe to the tribe, do this, do that. She's like, that's a form of cultism, isn't it? And I'm like, wow, okay, so maybe that is like modern day cultism or whatever you call it. I don't know, right?
Right.
But I think there is that sense of belonging. We all want to belong. And I believe you touched on that yesterday too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to belong to a Pilates community. But if we don't give ourselves permission, and that's what Michael was saying yesterday, is that give yourself permission to be your own leader, to be your own community.
Right.
And if people love what you're doing, they'll follow.
Yes.
Not just you on Instagram. They'll follow your sentiment. They'll follow your heart, your soul. You might not even know how much you've touched somebody by just being authentically you. In fact, often you don't. You're not aware of how you've influenced somebody.
Right.
So yeah, that was mind blowing because most people are out there for themselves, right?
Yes.
They're there to self promote. They're there to, look how good I am. Like, and that's what I loved about Michael. He was just very cool.
So, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very earthy dude. Yeah.
Yeah. That sense of a movement, like at one end of the spectrum is a movement. The other side, end of the spectrum would be a cult, right? Like,
Yes.
just go off this cliff with me. Not
Yeah.
that. Let's,
No, not
but
that.
yeah. So at the other end is a movement where now spaces like this, where you and I have a conversation, you're in
Hmm.
Australia, I'm in Canada. We're talking
Yeah.
to people in like Meryl in Germany just came into the room and people from the US and all these different things.
Yeah.
This movement of people who just collectively want to just learn and hear and support and cheer and move on is a lot different than going to a conference to sit and hear Pilates royalty on a stage talk about, like he said yesterday, the same exercises as they taught last year.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
This is so different and organic in its
Yeah.
growth, and it's a discovery. Like going more Joe, like Sonny Almond is like a
Hmm.
perfect example of someone who has been doing this for a long time in a really great way, but doesn't have a social media presence that is massive.
Hmm.
It's good, but not massive. But
Yeah.
now she's here in the room, and I think it's such an honor to have all these amazing people in this space, in this community.
Absolutely.
That's my definition of community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's
And you know what? Generally, those people that are out there and they're yelling and they're grabbing for attention, it's generally not what they're like from my experience.
mm,
Okay.
yes,
Behind closed doors and behind DMs,
yes,
you know, they're bullying people and they're bullying people and calling people bullies.
yes.
So, right, I have had personal experience with this. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So,
Yeah, we
right.
talked about that, right?
Okay, so you know, I don't believe everything I see, just like I don't
Hmm.
believe all those perfect Pilates posts either.
Right.
You know, but yeah,
Yes.
I think the quiet achievers, uh, it's a confidence.
Yes.
It's a quiet confidence that these people
Yes.
have, and I'm more and more drawn to those people these days.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's why I put the title Quality of Movement, Quality of People. Like when we talk about Pilates community, I gravitate to people who are dedicated to learning the craft like they've never seen it before every single day, getting better every day, and also interpersonally getting better every day. And we didn't have to touch
right.
on racism and all these different things. Like as a person, are you humbly trying to get better every day in terms of your movement, in terms of your person? Those are the two things that we're bringing to the table, and those are the things
Mm.
that make for an authentic community in my head.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
no, you're doing great things. You just keep doing them because, yeah, you know, we just
Yes.
we have to have this safe platform, and you've
Yes.
created this, and it's remarkable. It absolutely
Hmm.
is. It's just
Yes.
skyrocketed. So,
Absolutely. One more thing.
mm,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
When he, I recorded, I'm going to put it up after, when he was saying, I am so impressed. He said, like, the Celia
Oh,
Joneses, and then these people, and all these people are doing these things. I'm so impressed. You get to see into what they're doing. So impressed with where
yeah.
people have gone to. And then someone in the chat put, finally, someone saying something
I
positive.
think that was Tila. Yeah, I think Tila said that. But yeah, finally, someone is saying something positive. You know, and you don't have to. You can smell a rat. You don't have to call one out. You don't have to kill it. You just have to kind of know it's there and skirt around it, you know.
Yes, yes.
But there's no reason to be unkind,
Right.
and be unsupportive. And yeah, you know, that's
Mm.
to hear somebody of his standing.
Hmm.
Um, it saddened me though. Also, like another thing,
Hmm.
when because I had to go to sleep before I heard the end, and he said he just didn't feel comfortable in any other studio.
Yes.
My jaw just
I
dropped,
right.
right?
I was like, do you know
Why
who this
not?
is?
Yeah,
Because he
but
was a
why
male.
not?
And he was saying because he was a male walking into a woman's world, right? Like he didn't shy
Mm,
away from that. That was part of it for him, just saying like people have
yeah,
this thing. So like you walk in and then and I've heard other people, not even necessarily men, but I've heard other people say that. Like you walk into a studio and people have done so much work to create a safe space for the five people on the reformer that
their community.
their community. I think it
Yeah.
might even was it Joel? Or someone was saying like, and they walk in, and you go into your class. Oh, it was my podcast, Tom Holland, and
Right.
he was saying he would go into a studio, and he'd take a class, and then he'd be the only person sweating, and everyone's looking at him like, this guy's like sweating all over the reformer. And then over time, you feel
Wow.
like, okay, I don't feel welcome because I'm not just, I'm, this is hard for me. I'm going to sweat. If that's
Right.
uncomfortable for you, then maybe I should just leave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No,
So,
I couldn't believe it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you can feel uncomfortable in one studio, two, three,
Mm-hmm.
four, but like all
A
of them?
city.
Yeah. And New
And
York,
the
sitting at
Mecca.
that. Yeah. You know, that astounded me.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
really did. But anyway, look, that yeah, there was a lot to digest and unpack in that
Mm-hmm.
combo. So yeah, it was
Yes,
brilliant.
it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I loved having you there. It's so fun to have someone who's like staying up late just to be there. He's
Yeah,
totally worth it.
lockdown has its benefits, huh?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just see
Thanks,
all the
Martin.
oh, thank you, thank you. I know you're in your meeting too. Thanks again for coming on today. This, yeah, solid.
Pleasure. Thank you. See you now.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Thank you. Attitude is everything. Just reading some of the comments here. Thanks, my love. I'm so proud of you. Going back up here. Pilates Hottie IG. Such a wonderful journey and great people in the world of Pilates. Love the space created here with Martin. Thank you. I love the fact Pilates Hottie IG is an enthusiast like Michael Brown or a conversationalist Kai IG. There's individuals who join who aren't teachers. They are here because they love the work. And I think that's the common ground is that at the end of the day, we all love this work and we can celebrate and we can land there and then just launch for that place. So if we have this love for the work, a desire to get better, and then we're trying to be kind in the midst of it when things don't go our way, or when we see systems that don't lend to representation or all those different things, can we be kind through that process? Can we navigate that with kindness is the challenge. And I'm going to keep circling back to that because that was so good. Anyone else watch yesterday or anyone wanted to join me here on chat? Like Celia and I just touched on so many things, and that was such a one, yesterday's conversation was great, and two, Celia is just one of my favorite people. I love the fact that she was up at like midnight to do that because I don't know if I would stay up that late to watch me. I'd be like, I'll just watch a replay tomorrow. But so good. We legit just touched on like everything I had to say. Like it was Celia right there. Yes, yeah, I definitely watch it. John Claude, how are you, my friend? Yes. Just out of curiosity, just I have two men in the space right now. Have you two ever felt uncomfortable walking into a studio? Like, as a man walking into a woman's world of Pilates, felt like, okay, not necessarily uncomfortable, like I have to leave, but like I have to brace myself because I know that people are going to look at me differently or they're not going to receive things differently or people like there's going to be a different vibe because I'm in the room. I've had that sense of it being a different vibe because I'm not in the room, not feeling uncomfortable, like, woe is me, I'm going to leave, but like a different vibe. And I just mentioned that, Michael mentioned that yesterday, having 40 years in the industry, not feeling comfortable walking to spaces. I know what he meant there. Yeah. Okay. Never bother you. That's fine. Yeah. My vibe has been I'm there for a different reason, and I have to remind myself why I'm there. I'm there on purpose, and back in the day, yes. Huh. There you go. Right. Yeah. There's different. So you had some training from from different contexts. So Pilates is light work after the ballet world. I heard the ballet world is like can be pretty cutthroat. Actually, I don't know, gentlemen, if you want to join me, John Claude and Joel, if you guys want to jump on screen for a second and just talk instead of texting, we can. Give me a thumbs up if you want to join. Yeah, that's just an interesting piece. Yes, exactly. You guys, you got to bring it, right? And I feel like that now, but I felt like back in the day, I would be muscling my way through. So it was different, but hello, my friend.
Hey,
Hey, how
Hey,
hey
easy is
guys.
that?
how's it going?
Good. Quick jump
Nice.
in. Just
Yes.
a little break
Okay,
in the sun, nice and easy. And I saw your live, and right when I went on Instagram, you went live. So I said, let's pop in.
man. John, every time I see you outside, I'm like, why am I sitting in this box right now? I need to get.
I'm asking the same.
That looks beautiful where you are, man.
Yeah, it's
That's
a little
nice.
park here in Munich. Nice and easy.
Oh,
Wow.
It's called
Wow.
the Rosengarten, the Garden of the Roses.
Wow.
And
love
you guys
it.
are seriously at work. I can see that.
Yes, I'm at work.
Yes, alas, yes. So I'm not about to hate on women here, straight up. That is not the intent. But when we're trying to get men doing Pilates, teaching Pilates in Pilates spaces, I thought it was just interesting that of all the people, like Michael Johnson, I'm not putting him up as royalty, but like someone who had like 40 years in the space is just saying like, I don't know, like I felt not comfortable going to this woman's world of Pilates.
Totally understand. Like I said, for me, it's quite different because I got that when I was 7 and I went into a ballet class and there were 2 guys and 15 women, and I didn't feel quite comfortable in that space. So it taught me very soon to be okay in that surrounding. But I mean, that's why ballet world, to come in a studio where there's 20 women and 1 male teacher and me, I don't have an issue with it. But I dealt with that way as a child. So, but I
Yeah.
can totally understand. I see it because I'm sensible with people. I see when guys walk into a female space, and I see, when they are comfortable and when they hesitate. And when I have workshops, even I can always feel that the guys and their teachers, they are there, but they're always
Yes.
a little bit apart. So I always give them extra attention to say, cool, there's a guy, and I always bring him in and always try to, we have to pull them a little bit in. They need a little bit of support there because
Yes.
it's not easy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. In like the Pilates world, I never felt that way. But where I have felt that way, but I just own it and have fun, is like if I remember when I went to a Zumba class.
Yes.
Again, yeah. Okay, I can't dance for one, so
Right.
but I just owned it and I'm like, hey, I'm just having fun. I'm gonna sweat and just laugh at myself.
Yes.
So maybe it's your, the attitude that you have. If you're trying to prove something, then it would be a problem. But
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's part of it too, is that, and John Claude's mentioned that too in the past, like have fun with it. Like it's a serious thing, but it's such a fun thing too. And I think we can get caught up on either end of the spectrum.
Surely, but it's always tricky when you're having fun with it. When you're with other guys, easy to have fun with. But when you're 1 guy or 2 guys with only girls, there's always a little bit that male ego, that a little bit to kind of show that I'm a strong, good guy. This is what we were, unfortunately, that's what we were grown into in this kind of world. You're a guy, you play with this, you play with the He-Man and the stuff, and you're a girl, you get the puppets, you get the Barbies, It
Yes.
starts right there. That's the issue
Yes.
with what we have. Just
Right.
put the toys in front of the child and let him choose whatever toys they want to choose with. And this is what you go with. Don't start dressing them up in colors and giving them all the stuff that we think is right for them. It's the same with the fitness industry. Don't put the stuff,
Absolutely.
you need to go and do this because you're a guy, and you need to go and do this because you're a woman, because, we're the same at the end, and we just have little differences. But at the end, just give us the same toys and let us choose.
Yes.
I think.
Actually, and Michael just joined us too. We've been doing a recap, Mr. Johnson, of our conversation yesterday. So actually, if you want to join us too for a second, like
Absolutely. I
I'll
never
send
met
you
him personally, so that would be cool.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
it's
like
free,
him.
everyone. Yeah. So it's so funny. Like in my undergrad too, same thing. I was like the only guy doing a social work course, university, in my class, right? Like everyone wants to do that sort of thing, but I don't know if he'll be able to jump in or not. But So, John, how's the family in Haiti after?
They are fine. They're safe.
Okay.
Everybody's safe. The earthquake was in a different region. The family, the kids are good. All the houses are still standing. So of
Schools,
course it
nice.
affects the economy again in the whole country. But let's say luckily nobody was hurt. Nothing is destroyed on that side. So that's wonderful. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Mm.
Nice. I don't know if he'll be able to come in, but it's all good. Joel, what's going on? How's your teacher training thing been going?
Oh, good. Well, we're doing the regular teacher training will start up for new teachers next year, but we're doing the advanced teaching course, and it's going really good.
Yes.
For teachers that have been teachers for at least 2 years, so it's great. Good review for them. I always learn a lot from those teachers as well too. But just going over how to build skills, teach to build skills.
Yes.
And just kind of how brains learn, things like that, going over those just hardcore teaching skills. Not really, we're answering questions about exercises if they come up, but it's really,
the
not
nuances
about the exercise. It's really about how to teach.
Yes.
How to teach and how to build skills. And then we weave in some extra stuff too for experienced teachers on, how to do pushes and pulls and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's been really great. We got the next one coming up in a couple weeks.
Great.
So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, but it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, and you guys both get it. And even like Michael was saying yesterday too about teaching from a we perspective, not a me perspective. Like he's not a dictator up here telling this is the way it's done. It's like, well, let's see what your body can do from here. This is where we want to get to, maybe if you can. So like it's a very soft approach for the perspective of understanding what we can do and what we can learn. So I love the fact that it is like, what can we learn from these people that are in this room to learn, as opposed to everyone sit down and I will commence my lecture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's no fun. Yeah, that's no fun. We already
For either side.
For either side.
That's why everybody wanted to get out of school, because of that type of teaching. But if it's interactive and it's fun and people are feeling stuff, then they're enjoying it. If they're feeling something, they're enjoying it.
Absolutely. All right, I'm not gonna hijack any more of you guys' day because I know
That's
that you
all right.
are all busy. So,
Right.
But at the same time, can I take a quick screenshot just for the?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey. Done.
Been a while.
I know. I appreciate you guys. Joel's always ready to jump in and join me, so I appreciate that because he saves me on some of the days when I'm just here talking to outer space. So
I've been at work for 4 hours already, so it's I'm up, I'm dressed, ready to go. So
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. I didn't have to do my hair this morning either, so it's perfect. Awesome.
Wonderful, guys. Well, see you soon again, and we'll talk some more. I try to be a little more present again, but since the teaching is back on in the studio, it's been very busy. Fortunate.
It's good. Yeah,
it's good.
Absolutely. It's
good.
Well,
Joel, take care, my friend. I hope to meet you in person at some point. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure we'll see each other soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
All right, gentlemen.
Bye.
Thank you. 1 and 2. All right, party people. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to shut this off. I'm going to put some of those replays up from today's conversation. Really fun stuff, and I really do appreciate all the great work that we're doing here. Tomorrow, yes, core conference. Dan, who is it tomorrow? I gotta double check. Okay, I'll send you the post for that after as well. See who our conversations with tomorrow. As always, it's so good. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for cheering on everyone as they join us in the chat. I really, really appreciate it. And let's keep moving forward. Keep being kind. That's what's up. All right, take care, guys. Have a great day.